Hi everyone, today I'm reviewing The Perfect Guy. It was directed by David M. Rosenthal and written by Tiger Williams. So this film is about a woman who leaves her current boyfriend for a guy who seems to be the guy of her dreams, and she soon realizes that he has a dark side, and it turns deadly. So this movie stars Sanaa Lathan, Michael Ealy, and Morris Chestnut, and I think right from the trailer you kind of get this sort of lifetimey vibe to it, and the movie really doesn't disappoint. So the good part about this movie was definitely the casting. I think that the cast really elevated the film to a step above a Lifetime movie. Sanaa Lathan did a great job as a woman who has to go through great lengths in order to defend herself. Michael Ealy was good at playing the good guy, and he was also good at playing the dark, psychotic character. Morris Chestnut was also really good at being the sort of crowd favorite, the one you kind of want to root for to come out on top. And the one thing that surprised me about this film was that it became a sort of revenge movie, and it reminded me of something like I Spit on Your Grave. Really not to that extent, but it sort of had those elements to it where the main character goes through some sort of trauma, and then she has to sort of take matters into her own hands in order to take care of the situation. There are also some good humorous beats, some intentional, some not intentional. I think the not intentional part was through the suspense, which was a little over the top and cliched, so it ended up making the film a little more funny. So the film was actually enjoyable. This is the good part, but I'm going to say it's not a great movie, but it definitely succeeds in being an enjoyable bad movie because everything's kind of played up a lot, and you don't want to walk out of it. You're okay with sort of sitting through it and seeing it through to the end. So now the bad part. The one word I would use to describe this film is lazy. I think that from conception it's pretty unoriginal, but I think that the execution can always make a film more interesting and original and easy to watch. Right from the first scene of the movie, you could tell that the editing was pretty bad and the dialogue was very stilted. And this is a surprise because the screenwriter Tiger Williams is actually a USC professor, and USC is one of the top film schools in the country, if not the top one. So I would have expected a little more from that. The direction also left a lot to be desired, because I would watch certain scenes and I would think about how I would have directed it differently and sort of mess with some nuances in order to make the scene more believable and more fitting with the tone of the film. The tone of the film was supposed to be dark, and even though it did end up being humorous, I don't think that was necessarily intentional. I think that the darkness of the film was definitely portrayed in the cinematography, which was decent. And from what I read, the director told the cinematographer to use a lot of natural lighting so that he could have a more dark, ominous look in a lot of the night scenes. And for the most part, this worked. But I also noticed that some of the second unit photography, if there was a second unit, at least a lot of the exteriors, it was really fuzzy and grainy. And I don't think that was part of the tone. I just think that the cameras they used weren't that great. You could tell from one scene where two characters were driving up to a house, for example, that the film footage was intentionally blurred so that we couldn't see that the two main actors weren't the ones in the car. So I think that was kind of a big misstep as far as the production goes. So in general, the production was pretty lazy. And as far as the story of the film, it was really melodramatic, and it was also very difficult to get behind Sanaa Lathan's character, especially what we were told of her backstory. She's a 36-year-old woman who is trying to find a guy who she wants to have a family with, but she jumps right into a relationship with this new guy when she leaves her long-term boyfriend, and she takes no time to get to know him at all before they jump into a physical relationship. And I think that that's a little unbelievable, and she should have gotten to know this guy a little more before things really escalated. And even if the guy was planning on doing this sort of thing, they should have dragged it out a little more so that we could have gotten the idea that he was kind of putting on a ruse. So now the ugly part. What this film touches on but doesn't seem to take seriously is mental illness. I think that it's a very big issue because we're just given the information that this guy has a mental illness, but it's used more as an excuse for him to be a bad guy instead of us thinking about why he became this way and what's motivating him. I think that more interesting movies of this type, these like psychological thrillers, are ones where we can explore the bad character. You could see this in a film like Who Killed Teddy Bear or Peeping Tom or Twisted Nerve. These are all like older films, but they're good examples of what I'm talking about. They basically said that the circumstances he was given made him beyond help, and I think that they should have explored this more in his character, because he did show that he had a genuine good side, and I think that this could have been brought back out of him if I was in that same situation. In this day and age, we have a much more intimate understanding of mental health issues, and I just think that it was lazy and cliche to use these as an excuse for him to be the evil guy. This sort of thing would work for a horror film, but I think that for a psychological thriller, the audience wants to learn more about the characters and what's wrong with them in order to actually take something away from the film. And for this genre movie, I think this was a good opportunity and a missed opportunity for this particular film. So that's my review. I give this film a 0 out of 1 if you couldn't figure it out before. Definitely don't see it. You can probably watch it on TV when it comes out or something. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you liked it or didn't like it. You can subscribe for more reviews, and tune in next time. Bye.